I'm Meryl Key, and this is what is happening and why, looking at big picture astrology for the month and what it means for you. If you want more on your individual zodiac sign, I've got AstroDice forecast put up each month. And thanks for your channel support. I appreciate all of those likes, subscribes and shares. Thanks for helping. I'll do a wrap up at the end of the video, but let's kick in with some astro props and planetary overview. December 2023. This month you'll be questioning your beliefs, in particular, the ones that limit your growth or keep you tied in a pattern. Why you've put up with things the way they are. What you thought you knew has changed in some way. And as we're charging towards the end of the year, a new trajectory is taking off. Are you going to hang in for the ride? I hope so. But there's a big sticky patch mid-month with loose ends and tripwires waiting to pull you backwards. We can help with that. First up, December is full-blown Sagittarius season. Sun, the new moon, Mars, and later on Mercury and Venus all take a trip through Sagittarius' big open spaces, thirsty for something extra. It makes things bigger and brighter and somehow lighter, tapping into something beyond emotion and without the baggage, because the vision is really clear from up here. Sag makes you bold. It activates passion, and as a fire sign, the quest for spirit weaves its way into everyday expression. And that can be through sport, through seeking knowledge, fame, religion, justice. Sag is an adrenaline junkie for that little bit more. Sagittarius is also a big blustery energy, so you'll want to earth it, slow down and find a steady rhythm. It doesn't help that Mars is still looking for arguments and Mercury is revisiting Sag on the 23rd, coming in backwards from Capricorn. This could make the Christmas break a bit testy and you might be asserting yourself firmly or watching a drama play out from the sidelines. Isn't that the same as every Christmas, you may ask? Maybe, but here you've got a chance to get beyond the usual script. In the lead up, Mercury, the god of communication, the mind, movement and contracts, turns retrograde with the new moon on December the 13th. Initially in Capricorn, where it can tangle with finances, work arrangements, responsibilities, and assumptions about what your role is supposed to include within your family. And then Mercury retrogrades into Sag on the 23rd, just in time for Christmas, where communication can get really divisive, reckless, loose. There's gossip, exaggeration, foot in mouth, people getting in a huff, and confusion over what was originally intended, what is truth and what is justice. The balance could go way off. If you can, lie low, feet on the ground, or keep yourself in that hearty debate vibe rather than getting whipped into a manic frenzy to be right. When a planet goes retrograde, its expression gets distorted. Mercury, normally quicksilver, becomes custard. Communication slows, mixes up, goes off on a tangent, or reveals something stuck at the bottom of the plate. Mercury retrograde can not only bury information, it can bring back messages from the dead. So this is also a time of research and discovery, going back to places that stir your memory. Something hidden can magically reappear. And that's why prepping for a Mercury retrograde pays off. Back up your computer, avoid big purchases or tech upgrades, double check details, read the fine print, anticipate a delay. A conflict over Christmas could drag on, and any simmering hurt feelings that brood over the month get blown up with the full moon on the 27th, where Mercury retrograde joins with Mars in Sagittarius. It's reckless, accident-prone, and shoot your mouth offy. Things can definitely be taken too far, and the combo of speed and misdirection is a big factor. Airports and travel plans get hit. There's also a focus on contracts, legal matters, social media, publications. A sports injury could return. It's got that thing of overdoing it and not taking full care. Sag energy inflates and inspires. It's off seeking meaning, purpose and policy. Too much and it's arrogant, bombastic and judgmental. Fire and brimstone. Passions intensify. The focus gets tweaked and the truth might get tweaked at the same time. The idea here is to learn from mistakes and re-aim with a different perspective, with new knowledge. On a global level, tech giants and social media platforms could be targeted. The risk of cyber attack and scammers is way up, as are outages and breakdowns. Sagittarius rules long-distance travel and immigration, and that could point to the global issue of the refugee crisis. This month we could also see some progressive legislation, challenges to religious beliefs and organisations, and even things like mind control, cults and mercenaries. Sagittarius makes us look up, and the planetary combo of Mercury and Mars is warlike and aggressive, from above. Drone attack, bombs, lightning strikes, even bushfires all resonate with that symbol. So that's the crunchiest bit. Let's run through December week by week. Starting off in week 1. Neptune, who's been retrograde in Pisces since the beginning of July, slides to a standstill between December 4 and 10, and slowly from the 7th starts pulling its Neptunian tide in the other direction. This first week there could be brain fog, time warps and déjà vu, like emerging from the other side of the looking glass and seeing the world in a different way. And it may come with a reckoning or a realisation. Neptune represents the world of mystery, dreams and hope, and when it changes direction, it can dissolve illusion into stark reality. Venus moves into Scorpio on the 4th, intensifying emotions, magnetism and sensitivity. The boundaries are really loose and porous this week, so it's another reason to double check details, security and your hunches. Week 2, and we're building up to Mercury turning retrograde. On December 10, Venus in Scorpio comes in opposite Jupiter. Jupiter's retrograde. So there's something in what you're yearning for that hasn't quite landed. Perhaps you thought you'd be further along than you are. Money, security, intimacy, relationships, all get a poke. Venus in Scorpio puts you in touch with your deep vulnerability, the part others rarely see. And right next to that is your inner strength and courage. Give yourself a pat on the back for getting through something traumatic and know that you've got the resources to carry on. This is prep for the new moon on the 13th, because we're entering that muddy patch. The sun and moon are at 20 degrees Sag. Mars is within range 13 degrees. Venus in Scorpio, opposite Jupiter, is still active. And Mercury in Capricorn, turning retrograde a few hours after the peak of that new moon. But what does this mean? Sag new moons are a great time to launch things because they help put the seed in touch with the vision and then the energy lifts off. But no, not this new moon. Mars coming into range stirs up pressure to take action and make yourself known, be visible about your intentions. But Mercury station retrograde, that distorts the image and buries your plans. Neptune is square the new moon, and Venus opposite Jupiter says you have to make an adjustment to meet your goals. And then on top of that, we've got Uranus at 20 degrees Taurus, quincunx the sun and moon. Now, quincunxes are really irritating aspects, and this suggests there's an unexpected hiccup you need to accommodate, and somehow it cramps your style. You might feel misunderstood, put out, or sidelined. And within all the unpredictable events is a very predictable cycle. You've seen this before. You know how it goes. And although you don't like it, try to rise above it, even if it means drawing a clear boundary and separating yourself from stress. Sag makes you look at the big picture. Have foresight. Look up. And now week 3, here we are in the festive season. It's solstice on the 22nd, the turning point from light to dark and dark to light in the cycle of the sun, the moon, the earth and the seasons. And that turning point is brought home this week because it looks like a broken promise, or you change your mind, or someone puts their foot down. There's a reverb from the week before because Mars, the action planet of war and competition, has moved into the position previously occupied by the new moon. Now Mars is quincunx Uranus. Venus has moved to 20 degrees Scorpio, and it's opposite Uranus. There's a conflict, and all this focus on Uranus, the planet of disruption and revolution, means something radical is called for. Your sense of righteousness, in a good way, is stirred. Mars is demanding follow-through and that you take action. And retrograde Mercury is sitting with the Sun, earning a gold pass from Saturn. This combo of retrograde Mercury, Sun and Saturn bring memory, documentation, contracts or agreements to light. And Saturn validates the discovery, authenticates it. Someone else can see what you see, and there's a witness or a nod in your direction. Mercury moves backwards into Sag on the 23rd. And as we said in the intro, travel plans, computers and communication go through a distortion, a reboot or a rejig. But so are your beliefs. The full moon on the 27th is in Cancer, 4 degrees. The focus is on whatever you call home, family or mother, and what you need for emotional well-being. Jupiter, at 5 degrees in sister Earth sign Taurus, is breaking through a lifeline, reassurance, and a bit of confidence as well, something you've been waiting for. Saturn in Pisces is still paying attention to that recognition you got around the new moon, and it's reshaping a more supportive structure around you. So these two things are being really helpful, even if there's limits on what that entails. There's support. Nevertheless, as we talked about in the intro, this full moon, security, boundaries, safety are big themes. There are mix-ups, mishaps and accidents waiting to happen if you tempt it. Slow down. Use that Saturn energy for discipline and caution. Retrograde Mercury and Mars are doing stacks on, and the Cancer full moon is emotional and sensitive, so there could be a lot of blurting, oversharing, and bringing up the past at the end of this month. Also, I don't like what this one looks like mirrored out into the global picture. It's very divisive. On the 29th, Venus moves into Sag and it starts to square off with Saturn. Mars moves on and forms a square with Neptune. And now we're getting into really dodgy motives. Venus can be careless and risky here, and Mars wants to take what it wants. And under cover from Neptune, you need to watch out for coercion and manipulation. Of course, if you need to go behind someone's back, this is a really good time to do it. And because the way the dramas and confusion is blowing up, I say you're allowed to do a white lie to protect yourself from toxic situations. Remember, Sag says look up, see the big picture and align yourself with that. On the last day of the year, and Jupiter, the ruler of Sag, and retrograde since September, turns forward, rumbling into 2024 with a whole list of ideas about how to steer some growth and optimism back into your self-worth. get your baseline needs flourishing, and replant a seed with a better structure before liftoff. Goodbye 2023. To sum up, for some it's going to be a frosty Christmas and New Year fireworks for all sorts of mixed up reasons. But Sag helps you adapt and get over it, to tell a great story later on. The fiery combination of Uranus, Mars and Mercury could really disrupt plans this month, open old wounds, leave defences down and boil frustrations. And eventually, with some help from Saturn, provide a witness, advocate or support where you need it. Mid-month, that Sagittarius new moon is asking you to use foresight. Integrate what you can and eliminate the rest, even if it means a radical approach. Save a ton of patience and backup plans for the holiday period, especially if travelling. And if you've got a choice, it might be good to lie low. The other one to remember for this month is a big one, safety first, especially at the start of the month with Neptune turning forward, and around that full moon on the 27th, 28th and into the new year. Protect yourself from toxic environments and situations. Check in with your emotional well-being. Believe yourself first. Call out what's not okay from a place of self-worth rather than ego, pride or aggression. And finally, you can use this Mercury retrograde to learn from the past and retrieve some of the hidden parts of yourself. Express your bold and adventurous version without the baggage. Sagittarius has a great ability to bounce back. Its resilience is in that long view, the big picture, the vision that's just the other side of the hump. Ask what you need to put in place now to align with the big picture. I'm Meryl Key, and this is my mystery school. Check out the other videos on my channel, or find me on Instagram at my_mystery school, or my website www.merylkey.com. Thanks for watching.